Hello and welcome, guys. So it's Wednesday evening, back again, back to deliver some more value. And tonight we have a really interesting topic. And I'm going to get into the specific topic in a moment. If you've got any questions, guys, remember just to leave them in a comment below this video. So if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, that's your opportunity to, leave your comment, as I said. And as I said, today's video, we're talking about the secret to being relevant to your audience and getting them to follow and buy from you. And, there's a lot of different, I guess, topics around, audience building, defining your niche, defining your ideal client avatar. And in particular, we're going to look at the ideal client avatar in a moment. And I find a lot of entrepreneurs, they're in the market and they're trying to get some type of marketing channel working for them. Yeah. It could be social media. It could be, paid advertising on social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, which is obviously, of course, Google. And the biggest challenge people have is that, and when I say people, I'm talking about business owners here, guys. So don't want to be too generic. The biggest challenge business owners have is they're spending money on advertising, or at least, the very least, they want to spend money on advertising. And the money that they're spending isn't really going anywhere. It's not effective. It ends up being, I guess, an exercise of building an audience with little or no conversions. And the reason for that is a lot of people, they really don't know how to tap into that kind of, it's almost like the silver bullet, that missing thing in their marketing message, that pivot point where momentum just flows into their business. And I guess when you're in, let's say, like a challenging space where you want to take things to the next level, it's not easy. And when I say it's not easy, it's because you're trying to figure out 1,000,001 other things. And those other things, they consume, I guess, your attention. Then you've got general responsibilities. If you're a business owner, perhaps you're a husband, a wife, perhaps you have children, so therefore you're a parent, or perhaps you look after your parents. If you've got elderly parents and you're the kind of carer or at least provider, or even, other things that are happening, in the lives of your friends, your family, and your community, whatever. But, really getting to the point where your marketing is flying and you kind of hit that magical, let's say 10K a month. Up until that point, marketing can be, I guess, a hustle. It can be a grind. And, there's a lot of people who speak about the hustle and speak about the grind. And the reason they do that is very simple. It's because they're caught under that 10K a month figure. And when you start looking at the earnings or the income of, most business owners, once you hit past that 10K a month, you do move into that 97% of high earners in the world. And so actually, to get to that high earner level, I'm not talking about the kind of top 1% and beyond, but to get into that high earner level, you move to that 10K space. So whether it's $10,000, pounds, or euros, but there's so many, the majority of people, business owners, who are actually below that. So when I say you get into the 97%, area, that means you're in the top 3%. But most business owners who are under that 10K, that's where most people are. And that's why you find that the common language is this hustle, is this grind, is this trying to figure out social media, is, how do I get more visibility? How do I raise my profile? How do I, get, more people to see me, whether it's PR, whether it's on websites of notoriety like Entrepreneur, Forbes, all these things that, let's call it what it is. They're just kind of like ways to polish a turd. Yeah. Like you want to be on these things because you believe that it's going to give you some kind of edge. It's going to give you some kind of shine. And the reality is that if you're good at marketing, or at least you understand about branding, you can use these things to your advantage because you can use them as branding by association. But that being said, that's not going to be the thing that's going to accelerate where you are in your business. And what is going to accelerate where you are is becoming relevant to your audience. And that audience may not be this kind of huge, humongous audience that you probably believe that you need to have. It might be that, you've got a small email list, so therefore your database is small, your audience is small. Maybe you've got a small Facebook group. Maybe you don't have a Facebook group. Maybe you've just got friends on Facebook or connections on LinkedIn. But the key thing here is the relevancy of those connections, the relevancy of the audience, the relevancy of the people who you can reach out to. That's the critical piece here. Why? Because when you do hit that 10K a month, that's the point where you can use that as the tipping point for your momentum to go to that next level. So I'm speaking to you if you are under 10K and you want to go to that next level. And remember, guys, if you got any questions, I'm going to reveal a couple of things that you can use, that you can have in your business. And I guess really just, take you to that next level. So I'm going to share with you, I've got a little presentation I want to share with you guys. So if you're watching me on YouTube, remember to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. If you're watching on Facebook, remember, give me a heart or a thumbs up. So if you are going through challenges right now, or let's flip it on its head, because not everybody wants to admit to the challenges, I guess, publicly. But if you would like to attract more clients, if you would like to grow your business past 10,000 a month, just give me a thumbs up or give me a heart, because this is the point where the stuff that I'm going to share with you will make a difference to what you're doing in your business right now. So let me get the presentation on screen that I want to share with you. And it's literally just a few slides, guys. And this is going to be the difference between where you are right now and going to that next level with your marketing. So share screens. Let's find PowerPoint. Where are you? Right, PowerPoint slideshow. Right. So I want to start off with a story. So hopefully that is on the screen. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so you can see. This is a slide that I use from one of my webinar presentations, but it's relevant to this topic, guys. And I want you to understand, because this is going to be relevant to you becoming relevant to your audience and getting them to follow and buy from you. So the power of being specific and understanding your niche's emotional drivers is that your message is focused and connective and not diluted in the marketplace. Now, we all want to go big because we all have these, let's say, grand ambitions, dreams of growth, right? But the reality is that if you're under 10K a month, you've got to go super focused, because you're not at that size where you can go wide and reaching. You might be in a position where you are trying to get cash flow in, and especially right now, we're still under kind of some relative lockdown in every country. I'm in the UK, so if you're watching this outside the UK, there's social distancing in place and all that kind of BS is happening. And so it's making business a bit more difficult. But the point I want to get to is the more specific you are, the more you will get through to the exact people you want, because you might be thinking, you know what, I'm attracting people, but they're not quite the right audience. But you're saying yes because you need the cash. Yeah. But what I want to do is share with you how you can use what I'm about to share with you, so you don't have to say yes to the people who are tire kickers, time wasters, and to be quite frank, just a waste of, just a waste of space for you in business. And I don't want you to waste any more time than you need to, guys. So look at Facebook. When they launched, MySpace was the dominant social media platform. Yeah. And when Facebook launched, they went specifically and launched into universities. Yeah. So it was a platform for university students of these Ivy League university schools. Yeah. The higher caliber universities. And that's where they grew from, guys. Like, they went to these Ivy League universities, Harvard and all these other places, Yale and whatever else. And then as they become more popular, more universities were using them. And then it grew, because as the user base grew, they grew from not just being there for universities, that it became something that other college students, and then, it just grew. Yeah. If you watch the film, I forgot the exact title, it stars Justin Timberlake in there. You'll find out more about Facebook. But the point I'm getting to, at the time, MySpace was the dominant player. But Facebook had such momentum because they started off very specific. They understood something called the ideal client avatar. They understood exactly who Facebook was for, whereas MySpace was just literally MySpace for everybody. They'd grown to a certain size, but they hadn't innovated. They hadn't really dialed in what they were. They were just kind of everything, and therefore, the platform was a bit clunky. I remember using it quite often, and what happened over time, Facebook, in a very short space of time, just literally outgrew them and dominated. So that's the first step. You've got to be specific. And the whole point of this is, if you think about Facebook, their first psychographic niche, and I use this term psychographic niche because I don't like to just say niche, because whenever you're marketing, it's understanding the psychology of your audience. And that's where most people fall short. They went on and they focused on that specific psychographic niche. So let's step forward. So how do you define an ideal client avatar? And let me explain what an ideal client avatar is. So imagine you've got a group of people, like there's 100 people, and they're your perfect target audience. Within that group, you're going to have different people. So for instance, I'm going to share with my niche. So my niche would be, for instance, a mix of business owners. So I might have like a single parent mother in there who she's raised her children. They've probably flown the nesters. She's an empty nester. And now she wants to actually pick up her goals where she left off, probably perhaps before she had a kids, and really take things to that next level. Then I've got other people, for instance, like I'd have a male who's a husband, he has a small family, and he wants to grow his business so that he can look after his family, look after his parents, and just do the things perhaps that his parents weren't able to do and provide for his family. And then I've got other people who, let's say they're in their late 20s, early 30s, up and coming entrepreneurs who are seeking guidance. They've got energy, they've got some momentum, and they need to be strategically guided in the next, with the next steps of where they want to be to take their business to this kind of 10,000 plus a month level. So what I'm sharing with you there is you might have a target audience, but within that audience, you're going to have these avatars. So these different types of people who your message must be relevant to these different types of avatars. Yeah. Because what tends to happen with a lot of small businesses, they create social media quotes, social media videos, and their message is not relevant to those different ideal client avatars. And you might simply say, you know what, I'm going to pick 3 to 5 out of there, and that's where I'm going to pump and just drive my message. But a lot of people, they create one message, and therefore it only resonates with the kind of wider group. It comes across generic, and when people come across the content, they don't really think, oh, that's relevant to me, or that will work for me, or that even I trust this person, or whether it is something that I'm going to take forward and therefore buy from the person. It doesn't even get to that stage, guys. So your ideal client avatar is how you drill down and put yourself in a position to know what your message really needs to be about. So let's go a bit further forward. So customer avatar is a detailed profile of your ideal customer. It doesn't make assumptions or categorize people into groups. The avatar focuses on one person, outlines everything about them. It goes into much deeper depth than a regular marketing persona, providing marketers with many more targeting tools. So that was from the Einstein marketer. So it's crucial that you really know your target market. The better you know your market, the more people you can connect with, and the more repeat buyers you'll create, and the more referrals you'll generate. And all of this will come at a much smaller cost. And so what actually happens is when you start spending on, let's say, paid advertising, this is where your cost per conversion starts to come down, because you've now got people, customers who your message is really relevant to, who are now referring you as well. So here's a diagram that I want to share with you. So you put your message out to an audience, and here's how you start to understand how you get your message relevant. Yeah. When people first come across you, and especially if they've never heard of you before, they're classed as a cold audience. And then the next level down is a warm audience. And a warm audience is usually people who have heard of you or have heard of the kind of services that you offer. So therefore, they're warm to potentially what it is that you can do to solve their problem with the products and services that you have. And then the third option you have is hot. And usually hot people know they have a problem, know you have the solution, and they want to speak to you. So at that point, you define that as a prospect. So people with the cold problem is they have a problem, but they aren't aware of it yet. Yeah. So it might be, they might be walking around blind. Actually, I'm in business. I've got a business, but I'm turning over, 3 to 5K, and they don't see that as a problem. Yeah. For them, they're in business and they're trying to figure stuff out. Yeah. So that would be the kind of audience that I would be marketing to for one of my particular types of niches. Then you've got the warm type of audience within your niche. Yeah. And the warm is they know they have a problem, and they're seeking information. So they have a problem and they're like, I need to find a solution. So they're seeking information. Yeah. And then the final one is hot. And the hot is, as I said to you before, they have a problem, it's causing them a pain, and they must fix it in their life or business. So then, guys, with this information, this is the point that I want to share with you now. Good evening, Magdalena. Thank you for your continued support, Kahanya. And the point that I want to get to, guys, is this. When you now, or if you take this information that I've shared with you, you take the cold, warm, and the hot into your marketing message, you'll see that you actually need to diversify your message based on where somebody's at in your funnel, or in relation to how much they know about the problem. Yeah, a lot of business owners will market to the people who are simply hot, and the people who are hot only account for 3% of your market. Yeah, this comes from the customer buying pyramid, which was popularized by Chet Holmes, who's a great marketer and business owner. And he come up with this model called the customer buying pyramid, where he broke down, and every time he used it, it was like literally bang on, how many buyers there are in your market. Your job is, you need cold leads, because that's where you're going to get the majority of people who've never heard of you before, but they don't even know they have a problem. So your message at that point for your ideal client avatar must speak to people who don't even know they have a problem and are going around, let's say, almost blind to what's in front of them. And you're the one who has to educate them up to the point that, hey, are you experiencing this, or are you going through this? So it must be that kind of messaging where people understand that, you know about the problem, but you want them to also see that you're a human being, because you can't just keep pushing, hey, have you got this problem, and keep asking questions. You kind of have to invite people into your world. But the first point that I want to get to here, guys, is you must become relevant by showing people that you understand where they are. So when people are cold to you, the critical thing is for them to see that you understand where they are, even if they've never heard of you. Yeah. And especially if they've never heard of you, because the more people you can turn from cold into warm, the more successful your marketing will be. So when it comes to warm, you're no longer trying to convince them of the problem. They know they have the problem. What you're then moving into is to build trust. Yeah. So when you market to people who are warm to your message, or warm as in they know who you are, or they know the problem, and perhaps you could help them with your product or service to fix the problem they have, you're building trust here, guys. So when you're building trust, it's going to be down to social proof. It's going to be down to whether they like your personality, whether they like your lifestyle. And so that might be, for instance, me, I'm a parent of 3 children. So therefore I'm a father. I'm a family guy. I run a business. I understand the challenges of being a parent, of wanting to provide for my kids and actually helping other business owners, and doing all of that with, the drive, the vigor, and the vision that I have for my life. Yeah. So there's going to be different things that will trigger people when they're in that warm stage. And also bear this in mind, guys, people might not like you when they're warm to your message. Yeah. But if they trust you, people will buy from you, because, people always talk about this know, like, trust. Yeah, they've got to know you, because otherwise they can't buy from you, because if they don't know you, then they don't know anything about you. But people don't have to like you to buy from you. And I've had people who, when they bought from me, they didn't like me, not because they were outwardly like saying, oh, I don't like you, Leon, just didn't like me. There's like, can I believe this guy? Is it another internet marketer, or is this another scam? Because that's the kind of thing that I'm faced with in the marketing industry. But once they trust me, or they trust in the results or the things that I'm doing, that's the point where you can use the same method. And then the final part is the hot. When you're speaking to people who are hot, it's going to be down to convincing them to take the action of either buying from you if you've got like an offer on a landing page, or if you want to convince them to book in a strategy or discovery call with you. So the key thing here, guys, is to use this analogy of cold, warm, and hot with your messaging. And you simply use something called education-based marketing, EBM. And that means just having the right message for where that person is in their relation to understanding whether you can help them with the problem, or whether they know you. And that's all it's about, guys. And if you're putting out generic videos, if you're, for instance, just creating content, because I see a lot of people do this, just knock out content in 3 hours, record a bunch of videos, repurpose it, create some quotes, create some social media images, lifestyle stuff, blah, 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 blah. Well, you can do all of that and be very productive, guys. But if your message is not relevant and your message is generic, you're going to create a whole load of noise and you're not going to be relevant to anybody. And I see this time and time again. So don't fall for the trap of, oh, I need more visibility, and you're just creating noise and you're not relevant to people, because what can happen is you expand a lot of money, a lot of time, and you end up with the results that aren't, I guess, worthy of the effort that you've put in. So focus more on being relevant, guys. Focus more on understanding where your audience is, and focus, and I say this, with the greatest respect of what you're doing in your business right now, on your niche, and dig into your ideal client avatar. Understand specifically the personas who you're marketing to. Pick 3 and create messages for those types of people. Create messages so when they see your message, when they watch your video, that person says, that message was for me, that video was for me. What this person in front of me, whether they're reading a post or an article or a blog or watching your video, as I say, they say, that was meant for me. If you can get your marketing to the point where your clients say, that was meant for me, and when you hear them say that on the phone call, or when they message you or say something along those lines, that's where you're winning, guys. If your marketing isn't getting people who say, that message resonated with me, that was for me, and that's why I'm buying from you, that's why you're causing or having problems in your business, and you can't get to that 10,000 a month. So if you're going through that, and what I'd say to you guys is just drop me a message. Yeah. If you need help going to the next level, and I can show you what's missing in your business. Final story then before I wrap up today, guys. So I was working with a client one time, and they were about 100,000 in debt. And at the time, they wanted to kind of just go, mass market, spend money on ads, spend it on credit cards, basically money they didn't have because they were already, 100,000 in debt. And, they're really fired up, like, I'm willing to go deep. I've got my last 7K on my credit card. Let's just do marketing. Let's just go out to people, and get more clients. And at the time, the alarm bells are going off in my head, because whenever somebody is already massively in debt and they're like, let's just give it my last shot, what happens is scarcity and the entrapment of not having money, causes you to think irrationally. And so I remember at the time I was speaking to my clients, and I said, look, let's do a 30-day hit, because I can help you for a short period of time and see what we can do. And so instead of spending money on ads, here's what we did, guys. And you'll find a lot of successful business owners take this strategy, even when they run ads, and they don't tell you this step. So what I said to him is, who do you have in your connections right now, or people that you're connected to, that have your ideal client? Yeah. And who can we go out to and literally get on the phone or have a meeting with and pitch them with an idea to sell your products or services to their clients, where it's a non-compete. So they have your ideal client, they don't compete with you. And so we sat down, we strategized, we redefined his program, redefined what his value proposition was. And then as we were speaking more, he's like, there's actually a guy in my local town that I can go to, who I know, who actually has my ideal client avatar. So to cut a long story short, guys, what we did is we used the warm method, because the person who he knew was warm to that, to my client, because they knew who he was and what he represented. What they didn't know was what products or services he had. So we set up the meeting because we were very clear on his ideal client avatar. So take this into consideration, guys. Sometimes your ideal client avatar might not be the end user that buys from you. It might be a strategic partner, might be a JV partner as well, that can open the doors to even more clients. So we did that. Yeah. We reached out to them. 6 months later, guys, we were able to take that relationship and opportunity from literally my client being 100,000 in debt to doing $1.47 million in sales. Yeah, this is how important it is to be specific, guys. So if you're going through challenging times, you want to take things to the next level, you want to become more relevant to your audience, and you want the right strategy to execute on your marketing to turn cold prospects or cold leads into warm, hot prospects who want to buy from you, reach out to me, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been another Wednesday evening. I'm sure this is about the 8th one now. So we're really knocking these out the park. Remember to join me next Wednesday, but I will be back on Sunday morning. Actually, I'm off to Devon on Friday. We're doing a short holiday right here in the UK. So I'll be coming live and direct from Devon on Sunday morning. Join me 8:30 a.m. It's Leon Street, the Visionary Marketing Coach, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great evening. evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Take care. Bye-bye.